Polaris is the North Star, the mystery of what it means and what it says to humanity. The North Star is also known as Polaris, and it's famous because it holds nearly still. The entire northern sky moves around it. Many believe it is the brightest star in the night sky, but truly it is only the 48th brightest star. You can easily find it, and once you do, you will see it shining in the northern sky every night from the northern hemisphere locations. Polaris is actually a triple star. The single point of light that we see as Polaris is actually a 3 stars orbiting a common center of mass. And that primary star, Polaris, is a supergiant. It is 6 times the mass of our sun, and it is 6,000 times as bright. It marks the spot of the north, and that's why it's been used for millennia for navigation. As you face Polaris, you can stretch your arms out sideways, and your right arm is pointing east, your left arm is pointing west, and if you turn around to your back, you are pointing south. This is a time-lapse photo of the night sky showing everything revolves around the stationary North Star. See it there in the middle? Polaris is a triple star, so we should know what the number 3 means to gather the meaning. And from history, that number 3 has meant divine wholesomeness, completeness, and perfection. The use of the number 3 begins in the most ancient, earliest accounts of recorded history. And in the Old Testament of the Bible, well, actually the whole Bible, it appears 467 times. And to list all of the times that the number 3 appears in the Bible would take way too long. So I'm just going to give you a few of the key examples of the number 3. 3 persons of the Godhead, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Noah had 3 sons. There were 3 fathers of Israel, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Ark of the Covenant held 3 objects, a golden jar of manna, Aaron's staff that budded with almonds, and the tablets containing the 10 commandments. Daniel prayed 3 times a day. Jonah was in the belly of the great fish for 3 days. And according to Mosaic law, men were to show up and present themselves 3 times a year at the temple. One for the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the second for the Feast of Weeks, and the third time was for the Feast of Tabernacles. Satan tempted Jesus 3 times in the wilderness. Peter denied Jesus 3 times, and sometimes God tests the resolve of his servants in order to prepare them for service. And in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus prayed 3 times before his crucifixion, and Peter denied Christ 3 times the night of his trial. And what's interesting is when Jesus was resurrected and restoring Peter to service, he asked him 3 times, "Peter, do you love me?" Do you see how the constellation looks like a bear? So where is Polaris? It is the nose of Ursa Minor, the Little Dipper. Ursa Major is the Big Dipper, and the Ursa Mesa is called the plow in the sky, and it is doing the work, traveling around the Little Dipper, keeping time. The 7 stars in the easily recognized Big Dipper are all part of the Ursa Major Great Bear constellation, and those 7 stars making up the Dipper are called the oxen of heaven. And we're told in Job 9:9, God designed the Big Dipper and Orion, the Pleiades, and Alpha Centauri. God asked Job in Job 38:32, can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons, or lead out the bear and its cubs? The Big Dipper is like a big hour hand going full circle around Polaris in one day. More specifically, the Big Dipper circles Polaris in a counterclockwise direction, and it actually takes specifically 23 hours and 56 minutes for it to circle it. The Big Dipper pointer stars are always pointing to Polaris on any day of the year, at any time of the night, and Polaris marks the center of the grandest celestial clock in our heavens. The Big Dipper is pretty easy to locate in the northern sky, and from there you can easily locate Polaris in the Little Dipper. The Big Dipper bottom pointing star is named Merrick. It means a labor of love, a feeling of bliss. Dubhe, the top pointer star, means back of the bear. It also means true love and wisdom. So if we put those meanings together, it's saying the work or labor of true love points you to wisdom and a feeling of bliss. The Little Dipper stars have names, and I thought we should look at them and what they're named to get the meanings. Polaris means aurora, or light of dawn. Kuchab is guardian of the pole. Yildan, the first dancer or leaper, guardian of the pole. Furcad is two calves. The word igal comes from the Hebrew root, which means to roll, circular, or round. And what is the connection between Furcad, two calves, and the verb to roll? Well, calves are known as rounders because as they graze, they walk in circles. And the word for a grazing path is ma'agal, which literally means a circuit. Interestingly, thinking about the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper circling around Polaris, completing that revolution daily, I am believing it reveals a picture, demonstrations of the human sphere and the heavenly divine sphere. Zeta means olive, the fifth planet star in that constellation. In Hebrew, Zeta means peace, prosperity, and beauty. Eta means growth, maturing, yield. Epsilon, the seventh, means small quantity, usually a zero. The Little Dipper is known as the wagon of heaven, and we use wagons to carry supplies, to provide the extra things that we need. Wagons that are horse-drawn, we call chariots because they're moving us forward, pointing us to the message of these stars together. I hear, come to me. I am your guardian, where complete happiness and bliss is found so that you can dance with joy. I will grow you and bless you as you travel around in this human fallen world. Your burdens may be heavy there, but know that I will give you heavenly rest. I am carrying everything for you. All you need is my heavenly wagon. You have need of nothing more. I am easily found. Look to me. And did you know that Lucifer revealed the exact location where God's throne resides? Where is it, you say? Up, yes, the north. The north is a specific place. The north is a definite location, and God's throne is not only just above us, it's in the north. The north is the direction past the star Polaris. We're told in Isaiah 14:12-14, how you have fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. How are you cut down to the ground who weakened the nations? For you said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And Polaris sits over the North Pole. Job 26:7 says that God stretched forth the north over the empty space. And it is so interesting that in this northern region behind Polaris, astronomers have discovered an enormous empty spot so vast that it is virtually incomprehensible. And although there are stars throughout heaven, behind the North Star, Polaris, there is an empty, enormous space. And I believe that is where heaven and the throne of God is. It seems as though Polaris was deliberately placed there to indicate that when you are lost, you should look north. It is where God dwells, and it is there you will find his true love, peace, bliss, and a wagon to carry all your burdens. We're told that God named the stars, but Adam named the animals, and I believe that he named them with a message. It is at the North Pole where we see the beautiful Aurora Borealis. Those greenish streamers light the night sky, and it is truly an amazing sight to behold. More amazing yet is the fact that the Bible tells us in the book of Revelation that God's throne is surrounded by an emerald green rainbow, Revelation 4:3. And I wonder, are those greenish lights that we see actually God's emerald rainbow bleeding through into the earth atmosphere? Because according to the Bible, it could very well be. We are told God walks upon the firmament above us, which is in Isaiah 66:1 and Ezekiel 1:26. Revelation 4:3 says, and around the throne was a rainbow that had the appearance of an emerald, and emeralds symbolize resurrection, birth, into a newer, purer life. And when applied to Christ himself, emeralds symbolize his qualities of kindness, goodness, and emeralds are mentioned several times throughout the Bible. I can see from this constellation how majestic is his handiwork, and he is speaking to us. He has a message for us in the stars that he has named. Psalm 19:1 says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. And that, my friends, is what we're going to be looking at. Be blessed.